Right now, I'm here with Harry Reid. Harry Reid lives in Safety Harbor, and he's a libertarian. In fact, Harry is an ambassador, one of two, for the Libertarian Party here in Florida. Harry, tell me something about libertarianism and politics.
Well, you know what politics is everybody knows that poly means many, and ticks are blood-sucking parasites. So to us, politics is a field where there are a lot of blood-sucking parasites. Basically, we are against political power. We feel there is entirely too much power held by the government, entirely too much money taken by it. The libertarians would like to see an awful lot of that gone.
Aha, okay. So what's the definition of a libertarian?
A libertarian is someone who believes in only the barest minimum of government. And one of the main things that distinguishes them from the anarchists, which is what people right away think of when we start talking about almost no government, is that libertarians are absolutely committed to nonviolence as a means of political change. And in fact, we all have to sign a pledge of nonviolence in order to become party members.
I was going to say, I had read that somewhere.
Absolutely.
That's interesting. So what are some of the main policies that libertarians are attacking right now, or of major concern?
Some of the main things which distinguish us from the Democrats and the Republicans at this point in time, because a lot of them are spouting libertarian rhetoric about how they want to make the government smaller. Of course, it keeps getting larger anyway. We are, in fact, in favor of the legalization of drugs and the end of victimless crimes. We are against any form of gun control. We advocate abolishing the IRS and ending foreign military involvement.
I see. So in other words, your philosophy is sort of that government is best which governs least. Who actually said that? Do you know?
It's been attributed to Jefferson, but he may have taken it from someone before him. I'm not absolutely certain. Jefferson was definitely a libertarian. Thomas Jefferson, Henry David Thoreau also was a libertarian.
Interesting. So how long has the Libertarian Party actually been in existence?
The party has been running candidates since 1972. That's when we started. There have been libertarians, of course, from the beginning of time, but as the third largest party, we continue to grow. We have been the third force in the United States for some time now, in spite of the absence of media attention. And, well, we just keep on doing it. At this point, Andre Maru actually got the largest number of votes in Dixville Notch, the first place to vote in the entire nation up in New Hampshire. So for something like 7 hours, we led the country in the presidential race.
In fact, he beat President Bush, didn't he?
He beat President Bush in Dixville Notch. He did indeed, yes.
Didn't he come in 10th or something in the entire state?
In the state of New Hampshire, he came out 10th out of a field of 60-something. I think it was 64.
That's interesting. So why don't we hear more about libertarians? Now that Perot has pulled out of the race, everyone seems to say we're just back to two candidates again.
Yeah, well,
yet there is the libertarians. Are you on the ballots in all states?
It's uncertain at this time. We expect to be, but there are some counts left to go. So at this point, we're hopeful, but not certain. The ballot access is a major problem for third parties everywhere, and Florida is one of the worst states. The media blackout is a puzzling phenomenon. I've been a libertarian for a long time, and I've seen it for a long time. And for a long time, I was just angry and confused about it. But lately, I've come to realize that anyone who either has political power or hopes to get political power is not going to be friendly to the libertarians. And in fact, the news media and the media in general rely, for a lot of their news, on politicians. And if the politicians get a negative attitude toward the media, they can cut off a major supply of news. It can cut off a major supply of entertainment. And so from the standpoint of the media, they don't want to anger the politicians. Well, covering libertarian candidates is almost certain to anger the people who hold political power. And one form of political power is control of the media.
And probably a lot of funding, too. A lot of different
especially with
media
PBS.
Get funding. Right,
absolutely. Andre Maru, our presidential candidate, was scheduled to appear on several talk shows. And always a day or two or three beforehand, they would call him up and cancel it with no explanation. Just say, no, you're not going to be there.
Right. I interviewed Andre when he was here, as you know, and he actually said that he was supposed to be on Bill Moyers and they canceled. He was supposed to be on David Letterman and a higher up canceled, and several other shows he mentioned.
This happens again and again.
Surely.
Basically, in general, libertarianism is spreading by networking and by word of mouth. There are a lot of libertarians. They learn about it from each other, but the broadcast media are not covering us and are not really likely to start in the foreseeable future because the people that hold the power in this country have nothing to gain from our success.
I understand that there are probably going to be upwards of 500,000 libertarians registered after this particular election.
We would hope so. Yeah, that's a reasonable goal.
Okay, tell me something about the crimes with how libertarians stand on crime, victimless crimes, and your drug laws.
To a libertarian, the only crimes are violence and fraud. Those are the only crimes. Peaceful, honest people don't belong in jail, is the libertarian philosophy. And if what you are doing is peaceful, and if what you are doing is honest, then it should not be illegal. This is the basic libertarian concept of what is a crime and what is not. The world is full of victimless crimes. We are a grossly overregulated society these days. Half of the people in jail are there because of crimes associated with the drug trade. Well, if drugs were legalized, right away, half of the people could be let out of prison, and there would be space in the prison for the rapists and the murderers and the thieves and the people whom we might want to put in prison.
I see. So tell me, Harry, how can one find out more about the Libertarian Party?
Well, we have an 800 number.
You do have
Everybody
an 800
write this
number.
down. 800-682-1776. When you call that, you can leave an address and a phone number, and they will mail you an information package, and you can find out all about the Libertarian Party. I'll repeat that. It's 800-682-1776. And that's how you get in touch with the Libertarian Party. Now, here in Pinellas County, after the inquiries come into national, we are able to download that list, so you will also be in touch with the local libertarian activities in this area. So that will get you to our local people also.
Great. Well, this is a fascinating topic, libertarianism. I'm sure we could just talk about it all night. Unfortunately, we're running out of time. So, Harry, it's really been great having you here.
It's been a pleasure.
And I hope libertarianism keeps growing for your sake.
I'm sure it will. One thing there is no danger of is that the government will acquire enough money and power to actually solve the problems.
That's true, and if libertarians are put in power, we won't have to pay taxes anymore. So.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So this is very interesting, a very interesting
subject. It has been
subject.
a pleasure.
Is there anything, one last reminder of anything you'd like to say?
Register Libertarian. It costs nothing and it helps our cause, and it expresses your upset with the system, which most people are upset with the system. There is an alternative out there. The alternative is the Libertarian Party. We are the third force in this country, and we represent the people as contrasted with representing the ruling elite. And that's the
Well, it's
final
true.
word.
We have the least amount of parties of practically any large nation in the world.
Indeed.
So. Okay, thank you, Harry. It's been a pleasure.